chair to witness this firsthand. It's just been extremely gratifying. I've seen the new starts, the new services, the exciting innovations taking place at health centers that are making a tremendous impact on delivering health care all across this nation. I've traveled from California to New York and all everywhere in between, and it's just been extremely gratifying, as I said. And when you think back to the beginning, we are fortunate here today to have witnessed some of the pioneers of the early movement. Among them is Dr. Jack Geiger. It is he who cajoled and convinced Sergeant Shriver and President Lyndon Johnson to write us in on the war on poverty in the very beginning. And I'm sure our guest speaker, Doris Kearns-Goodwin, could say it didn't take Lyndon Johnson, he was a smart Texas boy. I use it at the same time, smart Texas boy. It didn't take him long to figure out if you wanted to have a war on poverty, you couldn't win it without the model of health care that we brought to the table. We may have started out as a small demonstration project, or as some people call this, a social experiment, and Shriver's Office of Economic Opportunity. But indeed, health centers were on the ground level. We were in the initial programs on poverty all those years ago. But look at us now. Baby, look at us. We're not just alive and standing, we're growing stronger each day, thriving in a highly successful model of care. And let me just reflect. Just look at all that we've accomplished. We have become the largest primary health care network in the country. I'm going to repeat that. We are the largest health care primary care network in the country. Today, we are in every state and U.S. territory, serving over some 23 million people. And we're on the path right now towards 28 million by the year's end. And if Congress acts right and things fall into place, we could reach 40 million in just a few years. And if I did my math correctly, that means we'll be touching 1 in every 8 Americans. What an accomplishment that is. This doesn't happen overnight. All of this is a result of hard work and advocacy. And this past year really did pay off. And I'm sure you're all aware of it, and you're going to learn as we go through this. You know this already. This past year resulted in us being able to put $500 million in the health center services and expansions. That includes $165 million for base adjustments, $350 million to support access points and grants for expanded medical services, and up to $150 million in construction and capital improvements. $150 million. So some of us can now get out of those old churches and old schools and trailers that we've been in and really have those first-class facilities with first-class people. What began from a few neighborhood health centers back in the 1970s now stretch across this great nation, bringing doctors and primary care and preventive health care services to over 9,000 medically underserved communities. We are making good on our promise to fully integrate oral health, vision, behavioral health, HIV, hepatitis, and LGBT services to better serve our patients. Our healthcare teams have received very deserved widespread acclaim for reducing health disparities. They've made breakthroughs in the treatment and management of costly chronic diseases. We have changed the face of healthcare in this nation, and we should be proud that we delivered it in a way that's improved patient outcomes and also met the diverse needs of the populations we serve. And just look at our strength. Look at the workforce that we have out in this country right now. Right now, it stands at 160,000. 160,000 folks. That includes physicians and primary care teams, but also the support workers and all the people that make up the health center movement. It also includes our partners like the National Service Program. And that program has brought many into the health center movement. Among them, and I want to single out a few. Grace Wong, not right now, but Grace Wong. Jim Hobbs, who I saw in the Doc Hollywood in the back. Margaret Flint, Roderick Singster, Hong Lee, Mark Kodak, and myself, just to name a few. But also health center leaders and staff, joined by volunteer consumer board members and the AmeriCorps volunteers. The combined efforts of these fine leaders are making healthcare work for all of our communities and patients. But who would have believed 50 years ago that from the vision of a few reform-minded doctors and community activists would evolve a model of community-based healthcare that is now celebrated as a dynamic and essential part of the nation's health system. Today's health centers are no longer outside the medical mainstream. As a matter of fact, they're transforming the whole healthcare delivery system. What's more, they have proven that community-based model of care offers the greatest potential to achieve what we all refer to as the triple A. That's access to better care, better health at lower costs. Yet it begs the question, what is it that allowed us in this program to beat the odds, to withstand the critics who thought it too small, too mission-oriented? And how did we survive the many political changes in the healthcare industry? Well, it wasn't a what or a how, it was a who. It was you. The men and women of the health center movement. It was all of us. We never gave up. We persevered in our mission to lift the barriers of care. Our success is due to the health mental. You can look at the whole model itself. That very structure of the healthcare model is the thing that I think led us to where we are today. In addition to that, the partnerships that we form with people, governments, and communities that we serve, and we're built on a foundation of that partnership, of public and private. That collaborative partnership with these governments, foundations, businesses, academic institutions, community stakeholders, that keeps us strong and growing. Just look around. Look at the friends and supporters who've come to join us and celebrate this momentous 50th anniversary. It was built by the many, not the few. Of no less importance is our unique governance by patient majority boards. In every sense, consumer boards have held centers accountable, ensuring that we deliver patient-focused, community-oriented care of highest quality. Now, many factors have contributed to our success. Our strategic focus on the future. That is our ability to step back and critically assess where we are and where we want to be in the future. I think that's what really keeps us young and hard. Our advocacy and grassroots, that's the strong and clear voices of our people. That voice will be heard tomorrow on Capitol Hill. Our operational excellence, which is our continuous effort to improve and strengthen patient care and health outcomes. But most important, I believe, is that health centers do deliver results. On every investment made, health centers deliver a high dividend return. And that dividend is expressed in value. Value in the quality of care we deliver, value in improving the health and lives of the patients we serve, value in strengthening our communities, value in reducing health disparities, preventing disease, and delivering cost savings. Cost savings of some $24 billion a year, plus billions more in jobs and economic activity for our communities. And I would add one thing more. A lot of our success is from our partnership with the organization that we all belong to, called Nachc. When you look back, and we're going to be doing something later in the program, but I know that I want to recognize the very first executive director of Nachc, who's with us today, Jerry Asher. So, our very good friend who was the CEO of a community health center, Congressman Danny K. Davis. Danny and Jerry and other leaders in the movement recognized early on that if health centers were to survive, they needed to work together as one and be part of a national organization. It is Nachc that has brought us and held us together in our diverse community, migrant, public housing, and homeless health centers. Moreover, it has allowed us to dream bigger, providing a process to make things happen at all levels, local, state, and national. It has enabled us to unite behind a common agenda, giving us a strong collective voice in the shaping of America's healthcare system. And I say these things today because I believe it is important on this anniversary to reflect on what made it possible to be where we are today, and what will it take going into the future for the next 50 years. In January, on behalf of the board, I called a national strategic meeting that brought over 250 of our health center leaders, board chairs, state PCAs, networks, and others from all parts of the country. The objective: to assess the past year's progress, to look at the current environment in which we must operate, and identify challenges and opportunities, develop a priority action plan for the year ahead. As a result of that meeting and recommendations, the NAC board has put forward the following 3 high priorities for the coming year. Number 1, fix the primary care funding cliff. As I said at that meeting in Florida, if we don't fix the cliff will fix us. And those of you who are pet owners, you know what the veterinarian definition of the fix is. We don't want that kind of fix. Number 2, accelerate community health center excellence and performance-driven organizations in a competitive and changing healthcare world. Number 3, join in a year-long celebration of the 50th anniversary, not only to celebrate, but to build support and communicate the value of America's health centers. Celebrating the health center legacy. If you look out in this audience, there's such a tapestry of accomplishment. And, you know, many of you have been in the movement your entire careers. And I know that there are a lot of you out there, and I want to just take a moment to recognize, and if you would indulge me, all of those of you who retired in the last 5 years, would you please stand? We'd like to give you a round of applause. Anyone who's retired in the last 5 years? Thank you very much. We're so delighted you joined with us today. You will always be a part of the Nachc family. I'm not going to make a movie reference, but that family, this family, you can't ever leave. Today, as we celebrate, salute the past, I ask everyone in this room to commit to 3 priorities as we help lay the groundwork for that future. On the policy front, we need to recognize that we have some heavy lifting still to do, because health centers are facing one of the biggest threats in our history: the impending primary care funding cliff. If we don't take the time and we don't make this happen, the trust fund runs out in September, and October 1st was like doomsday. Just yesterday at a press conference, we had released a new Nachc report that focused on this issue and its impact. It would mean a 70% reduction in federal funding for all existing health centers. If Congress fails to act before October 1st, that catastrophe will become reality. Now keep in mind, that's only 6 months away, and the clock is still ticking. The size and impact of this would be devastating. Right off the top, nationwide, we could lose more than 7.4 million patients that would no longer have access to care. Health centers would have to close, jobs would be lost, clinicians and staff as high as 57,000 jobs would be eliminated. HHS Secretary Verbo, in a testimony before Congress a few weeks ago, warned of the impact that it may have in the closure of 2,000 health centers. At my own center in Louisiana, we're looking at losing $2.7 million. That translates into 2 site closings, 40 layoffs, resulting in 20% of our patients losing access to care. That's 4,400 people. Really, people with faces and family going off that cliff. People who once had no health care, then had health care, and now once again have health care. I said it yesterday when I quoted Alfred Lord Tennyson: "It's better to love than lost than never loved at all." That's not true for health care. It's one of the cruelest things you can do is to give someone health care, bring them into the system, and then take it away. And I don't think that's what this country needs to go and wants to. This is going to play out all over the country, and I know that for a fact. But you might ask, well, Gary, how did you come up with those numbers for your health center? Well, you know what I did? I used the NAC primary care funding cliff estimate that you all have access to. So if you haven't used it, please use it, because those numbers that they tell you that you're going to impact, I want you to use those numbers as you go on Capitol Hill tomorrow. We want Capitol Hill today to tell me those numbers speak volumes. And at the end of this session, Dan Hawkins and his policy team will provide details on that report and the outlook in Congress and our upcoming campaign to avert this crisis. But let's make no mistake, if Congress fails to address this shortfall, much of the progress we made will be, in the recent years, will be completely undermined. So this week, as we go to Capitol Hill with our state, regional PCAs, we must think and make the case for stable, not only stable, but sustained funding. You know, how can you plan a 3-year budget and you're being funded by year piecemeal? So the other big area that we all know is at risk is the funding for not only our health center program, but the National Service Corps. In addition to the National Service Corps, the Teaching Health Center program is also set to expire. Now, last year we were very fortunate. We had a big, strong show of support in both the House and Senate, calling for a bipartisan solution. But remember, this is a new Congress. It's a whole new ballgame this year with many new players on the field. I made a joke about us, and you know me, I'm from New Orleans, so the Saints have traded so many players. Our chant is who that. Our new chant is who that playing for the Saints, because we don't know any of these guys. Same is true for Congress, no new players. So today I call upon each and every one of you to do your part, to engage your communities in this fight and to speak out in the weeks ahead. Because this is a battle we cannot afford to lose. Help us bring public light to this issue and what it means for your community. We face continuing challenges on all fronts. Yet challenges and hard work, it's nothing new to know. Whatever is ahead, we know that we are ready, we will fight, and as our past is revealed, we will prevail. We are determined to grow into the future. That future will be building upon the proud 50-year legacy of service, commitment, teamwork, and leadership that we've shown to this point. I want to congratulate all of you on the job well done, the government partners that we've had throughout the years. That's HHS and the National Service Corps, our lawmakers, and our partners that helped put our nation on a path toward a more equitable health system for all. And as I close, I'm reminded of our dear friend, the late Senator Ted Kennedy, the godfather of community health Senator. He was very fond of quoting the Robert Frost poem, stopping by the woods on a snowy evening. And when he spoke, he would always refer, we usually close with that poem in these words. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep. And miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Friends, we have miles to go before we sleep. This is really a special moment in our program. And this time we're actually going to recognize all the Nachc past presidents and past chairs. So I'm going to ask that Ricardo and Tom, if you please join me, some of our executive committee members, you know who you are, and come up on this podium. Every movement has a history, and this is our opportunity to highlight those folks. There's no doubt a major contributing factor to the success that health centers have had has been our unity in Nachc. As I stated in earlier remarks, it was Nachc that strengthened both our visibility and our presence in the national force in America's healthcare. Each of our presidents and chairs faced critical challenges in our development over the years. But it was their leadership that helped forge consensus on divisive issues while keeping us strategically focused and united to achieve goals. Their vision helped put forward initiatives that grow the health center program and to make us what we are today. All are credited for building a stronger Nachc, keeping us together as a strong team that leverages partnerships, grassroots support, and resources for America's health centers. We are grateful for their outstanding leadership and service and many contributions to this association. So it is my great privilege the call, the roll.